tap in with the kid before we start building. Man, I probably got a little under an hour, man. So get right. Well, I ain't gonna get right to it, man. I'm gonna give y'all about a minute or so, man, to tap in before I start building on this subject matter, man. This is a real sensitive subject matter, man. It's something that's near and dear to me, man, because we got to do a better job in regards to protecting the babies in the community, man. We got to do a much better job. We got to do a much better job, man. We killing the babies, and it's got to stop. We killing the babies, and it has to stop, and it starts with us, man. We got to do a better job at policing our communities, man. We got to do a better job of staying on these young brothers, man, because they are out here acting wild, acting ignorant. I mean, just savage like, man. So we can't continue to let these things, let this type of stuff go down in our communities, man, because that's unacceptable, man. That's unacceptable. Under no circumstance should a 3-year-old that was just asleep get shot in her head and killed. Under no circumstance should that be happening. That just should not be happening, man. That's breaking all the codes, man. That's breaking all of the codes. Under no circumstance should that be happening where a 3-year-old girl is getting shot and killed. Under no circumstance. We know the 3-year-old wasn't involved in the beef. So at no point should something like this be happening. At no point should something like this be acceptable, man. It's trash. It's tragic. And we got to do something about it. We got to do something about it, man. That's a young black girl that is not going to get a chance to fulfill her potential because of ignorance. Because of ignorance. Like, again, when they say everything starts at home, this is part of what we're talking about right here. Everything starts at home. So we got to do a better job of controlling home first, man. We be trying to save the world. We be striving to save the world and all that type of nonsense, man. But look at what's going on right at the crib, right in the neighborhood, right on the block. Look what's happening. Look what's happening, man. We got to do a better job, man. We gotta get a grip on all of this nonsense. That's right around the corner from my crib, man. That's East St. Louis is not too far from me. Y'all know I'm in St. Louis, so East St. Louis right around the corner, across the bridge. TZ, man, they just basically shot up the crib. The young girl was in the crib. She was asleep, and she got shot in the head. Bullet caught her right in the head while she was asleep and killed her. So they shot up the house. They didn't care who was in the house. And the 3-year-old, she got shot in the head. Got shot in the head, got killed. That's essentially what happened. Magic Peace, what's happening? What's happening? But that's what's happening. Long story short. East St. Louis, man. That's right where I'm at. St. Louis area, man. Not too far. JF, peace. What's happening? Jason, exactly, man. So with situations like this, man, this is why I say we have a long way to go, because things like this cannot continue to happen, man. This has happened several times in like my area. I remember I had the one time that I did protest in March. It was a similar situation right around the corner from the house I grew up in, where a young girl, man, same situation, was sitting at the crib. I think she was like 5 or 6. And they started shooting up the house, and boom, she got hit in the head. Or she may have got hit in the head, but she got shot and she got killed. So this didn't happen several times in my area, man. Consu, peace, what's happening? Zeke, peace, Airview, what's the word? But this is becoming a problem, man. The children, the babies are not protected. These women, like, ain't no telling what's gonna happen to them. Like, it used to be rule of thumb, man. You don't harm the babies, man. You don't harm the babies. You don't harm the elders, and you don't harm these women, man. Like, if we had an issue, we hashed it out. We aired it out between us. If we knew that, if we knew that it was potentially babies in the crib, like, you not doing that. You not putting the babies in harm's way. You not doing anything that will result in the death of the babies. That used to be how they moved. That used to be the proper way to move. We not going to shoot up this crib. We're not going to do this because there's babies in there. Now, that's out the window. That's out the window now. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nick, for sure, man. And that's exactly why I'm touching on it. Because it's not the headline to see. We shouldn't have to see this. But it's a straight reality. And I don't even want to ignore that reality. And that's a lot of times that's what we tend to do. We tend to ignore the things that's going on right on our blocks, right in our own cribs, man. And we trying to, save the world when our own communities are just destroyed and situations like this popping off. See, we gotta deal with the savages in our own community. We gotta deal with the wicked brothers in our own community, man, that's doing this type of nonsense, man. This ain't how you supposed to move. This not how you supposed to move, man. This goes against the regular code. This goes against it, man. You're not supposed to be doing anything that results in the death of the babies, man. If you know that there's babies in there, then the shooting and all of that, off limits. You're not supposed to be doing that. Not supposed to be doing it. Carl, peace. Armand, peace. What's the word? Joshua, for sure. Rules and regulations, Kansu, yeah, rules and regulations out the window. Like I said, it used to be a whole code. Yeah, we were still out here shooting and killing one another, but it used to be some rules and regulations behind it. It used to be some rules and regulations behind it. Now, anything goes. I don't care if the baby's around you. I don't care if your grandparents around you. We shooting any and everybody. That's the type of energy that's out here. Lindell, peace. What's happening? Armand, it's plenty we could do. It's plenty we can do, man. We give up too quick. That's the problem. But it's plenty that can be done. We just give up too quick. We give up too quick because a lot of us have reached a certain point in our lives to where we like looking down on them and we act like they have no hope. But some of us came from that. Some of us were once that hopeless, young man that people gave up on. People around me told me I would never amount to anything in life. I was one of those ones. You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't for some people not giving up on me, then I wouldn't be who I was today. So that's the thing, man. There's plenty we can do. We just can't give up on them. That's the wrong thing to do. Tamika, peace. What's happening? So it's plenty that can be done. I don't never want us to feel like that is nothing that we can do, because it's always something that we can do. It just revolves around being persistent, being resilient. Like, yeah, these young brothers, they're not going to listen to us right away. But if we stay on them, then I guarantee you we can convert a lot of them. We're not going to convert all of them, but we can convert a lot of them. Because like I said, a lot of these brothers that come from that background, they are willing to listen. They are willing to listen to the right individual, especially if you one of the ones that come from that background and they can relate to you and they see that you changed your life. They may be willing to listen to you. They may not implement everything that you're saying right away. But if you stay on them, there's a good chance that you can convert them over to a better lifestyle. Oh, Armand, man, we need to march. We need to show these young brothers that, hey, you cannot be destructive and you can still earn a living. We need to get back to and that's one of the reasons, and I haven't been the biggest fan of it, but I will give credit. Like, you got a lot of these celebrities that's coming out here, they doing this boxing joint. So a lot of times you see some of these celebrities, they boxing out here now. Like, I'm liking that. A lot of people having these problems, like when these entertainers, these rappers, or whoever the case may be, when they have problems with people online, they starting to take it to the ring. So I feel like we need to see more of that. Just seeing grown men hash out their differences in the ring opposed to the guns. Like, they literally gotta put these guns down, man. Gotta put these guns down, man. Gotta really put these guns down, man. Like, seriously, this stuff is becoming a problem, man. When you shooting it, like a young 3-year-old black girl, man, had to lose her life for what? I guarantee you it wasn't worth it. I guarantee you it was not worth it. I guarantee 100% it wasn't worth that little girl's life, man. And she will never be able to come back. She only made it 3 years, man. And she got caught in the crossfires, man. Shooting up the house and you just shot her in the head and killed her at 3 years old. She didn't get to fulfill anywhere near close to her potential. Denise, peace, queen, what's happening? Like, come on, man. She didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that no matter what. Like, she did not deserve that at all. At 3 years old, she ain't do nothing to deserve that, man. She didn't do anything to deserve that. But unfortunately, that's how she got to go out. That's how she had to go out. Oh, Thunder for sure. And that's funny too. It's like, and even outside of the radio, we'll do that on social media. You know what I'm saying? We'll start talking about peace, and then we'll go engage in some destruction right after the peace talk. So we got to do a better job, just period, leading by example. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we'll talk about, you know, peace and things of that nature. Then we go indulge in the ignorance right after it. So just in general, we got to do a better job of just representing peace. You know, letting people know that it's a time and a place for war. It's a time and a place for that. And that's why I say back in the day, they had their rules and regulations. So if you got a problem with this brother, then okay, we gonna, like, you remember back in the day at school. All right, we gonna catch you outside once school is out, and we gonna hash out our differences. Things like that. Things like that, man. We gonna meet up and we gonna hash out these differences, man. That's what we gonna do. So we got to get back to the rules and regulations, man. Brothers gonna have their differences. You gonna have your tribes, you gonna have your cliques, you gonna have your gangs, and you gonna have people that don't get along with each other. But we got to come up with a better solution, opposed to I'm just gonna pull this gun out and I'm gonna shoot everybody that's affiliated with you. Anybody that's next to you, they're a potential target. We gotta do something about that. We gotta do something about it. Oh, Tamika, for sure. For sure. Oh, Nick, exactly. Didn't ask for it at all. Man, Joshua, you already know where I'm from, man. St. Louis, they literally, that's a badge of honor. It's a few things that are a badge of honor that makes no sense when it comes to the black community. The murder rate being high. Oh, like, oh yeah, the murder. I'm from #1. Like, dude, that ain't nothing to brag about. And then going to like getting locked up. Like these things should not be a badge of honor. That man K Reno said, stop glorifying giving that beast your time. Matter of fact, I'm gonna quote the whole line. He said, "Fools." Wait, what did he say? He said, "Fools coming out of prison with corrupted minds." And then he ended it with, stop glorifying giving that beast your time. Like, man, fools coming out of prison with corrupted minds talking about, yeah, I just did 9, and stop glorifying giving that beast your time. Like, that's what we on. We glorifying that. We glorifying that we did 20 years, that we did 10, 15 years for some nonsense. We glorifying that, like street cred, things of that nature. You was away. You ain't even get to see your daughter and your sons grow up. That ain't nothing to glorify. That ain't nothing to glorify. There is nothing to glorify in that. But you see dudes glorify that like it's a badge of honor that you did 10 years, that you did 12 years, and then think somebody's supposed to fear them because they did that. Man, I don't fear you just because you got locked up and things of that nature and you spent 12 years in the prison. Like listen, you bleed just like I bleed. That's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear, man. So we gotta stop that nonsense, man. We glorify the wrong things. Oh, the murder rate up. Yeah, I did 10 years. Woo, woo, woo. You better watch how you talking to me, this, that, and the third. Why are you glorifying that? Why do you think that makes you tough all of a sudden? Like I said, that makes you are a coward, man. You are a coward. If somebody did something like to you and you pull out a gun and you shoot them, there's nothing tough about that. I don't fear you. You are a coward. You are weak. Like, you are weak, man. If your first move is to grab your gun, you weak. You weak, and that's lame. Point blank, period. Point blank, period, man. Especially if we trying to fight. Like, if I'm telling you, all right, man, let's fight, and you pulling out your gun. You pulling out a gun. Like, that's what you on. Come on, man. We got to do better, man. We got to do better because, again, we shooting and killing the wrong people. We shooting and killing the wrong people, and they just sitting back laughing. Darian, that's what I'm telling you. Women and children were to not be touched, and the elders. You were not to touch the elders, the women and children. Period. Like, period. Point blank, period. You were not to touch the elders, women, and children. Women, that went out years ago. They don't care about women. Like, the women are not protected. They used to be, like, women were protected back in the day, and now when I come out and say black women should be protected, everybody want to, you know what I'm saying, kick me in the nose. But back in the day, that used to be the rule. The women were protected. The women were protected. Back in the day, the women in the neighborhood were protected. You did not touch somebody's moms. You did not touch their sister. You did not touch the little cousin. You did not touch the grandmother. You did not touch the aunt. The women were protected. The women could be in the most dangerous of neighborhoods, but they were protected because they were women. We did not touch the women. You did not touch the babies because we understood that if we not here, like, listen, we got to have the women here. That's war. Like, that's how you go to war. You leave. We go out to war and we leave the women with the children. We got to go out here and defend this nation, though. We got to go out here and defend this. Like, we got to go out here and defend the tribe. We going to leave the women here with the children. Y'all good. We finna go out here and fight this battle, though. That was the rule. That was the agreed upon rule. And that now has went out the window. Taylor, what part of Alabama, man? My aunt that I mentioned several streams ago, man, she lived in Huntsville, Alabama, man. I spent summers down there, and I didn't spend summers in Alabama. I didn't spend summers in Mississippi, and I just see the difference, man. Y'all know I'm from St. Louis, but I didn't spend summers in Mississippi. So I didn't spend summers down south, and then I come here and it just totally different experience. Just peace, what's the word? Trey, man, it was never like this. It was bad, but it was never this bad. St. Louis has gotten much worse. It's gotten much worse. Thunder, man, see, that's what I'm talking about. And he's dead serious. He'll probably shoot this place up with no remorse neither. With no remorse. Oh, Denise, for sure. Prison is not like, it's just nothing to glorify. Nothing to glorify. Nothing to glorify at all. Like, dudes like, why are you bragging about being locked up? Like, nothing is cool about that. I know some brothers that did time and they tell me, like, man, I never want to go back to that life. That's nothing to be proud of. But you got fools that, like, I'm gonna brag about being locked up. Man, don't brag about that. Don't brag about that. That's not a badge of honor. Guess what? You're going to end up right back there. Because that's where they want you to go. That's where they want you to end up. That's where they want you to end up. Taylor, yeah, for sure, man. I got some roots down there in Alabama. I used to, yeah, I was in Huntsville a lot. I was in Huntsville a lot back in my younger years. Craig, you say children, literally, children, women, and elders. Like, that was supposed to be what was off limits. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it was back in the day. That is definitely not how it is currently. Everybody is fair game now. Everybody is fair game. So the rules and regulations are out the window. Rules and regulations are out the window. Anybody is fair game. So if somebody got beef, it don't matter. Whoever they are around at the moment I feel like attacking, they all fair game. I don't care if it's a 3-year-old, a newborn, a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 95-year-old. Everybody is fair game. That's how these little dudes are living now. That's how these little cats are living now. And we know, those of us that know, we know why they are living that way. We know the influence via the media and things of that nature. So we already know why they are in the condition. That's why I always say we can't give up on them. We can't give up on them. Like, we got to continue to try to reach as many of them as we can. For every 10 you reach out to, man, I'm guaranteeing you one will listen. And that's all you need, man. So that's the way we got to make the change, man. We got to be willing to communicate to these brothers out here that's doing this type of nonsense. Or else, man, nothing is going to change. If we don't become willing to communicate and converse with these brothers that's out here doing the wickedness, nothing will change. And that's part of the movement here that I've joined in this area, man. We got to talk to these young brothers that's out here misguided, that don't have father figures in their lives, man. We got to talk to them. What's the harm going to come out of that? What's the harm that's going to come out of that? Ray, peace, what's happening? Joshua, I'm telling, big time helping the enemy. Every time you every time you kill another brother, guess what? You killing another soul, a potential soldier. You killing a potential soldier in the army. You know what I'm saying? When it's wartime, when it's really time for us to fight the real enemy, all our soldiers gonna be dead. Like, listen, these little game, those are soldiers right there. Those are soldiers, those who we gonna need on the front line, but they killing one another. So when it's time to actually go to war with the real enemy, we ain't gonna have no soldiers. We ain't gonna have no soldiers. And they know that. So that's why they cool with going to war, killing one another, killing the soldiers, man, killing the soldiers. When it's wartime, those are our soldiers. And we not gonna have any of them because they wiping themselves out. They wiping themselves out, and part of it is manufactured. Like I said with Tukey Williams, like I said, he said they dropped, or the police would drop rival gang members off of rival territory and things of that nature. So we know some of it is manufactured. So we're not gonna act like it's just all 100% us just being heathens. A lot of it is manufactured as well. So we always gonna factor that into it. But at the end of the day, man, that's a soldier, man. That's a soldier. Oh, Joshua, yeah, it's a lot of books in prison that's banned. You can't even speak in code in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even speak in code. If you speak in a language in prison that they can't understand, then they want to try to ban the language. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of stuff they be on in prison. And like I talked about the educational system basically being a reflection of the prison system. A lot of times that educational system, especially with the public schools, is prepping you for prison. Prepping you for prison. Nick, that's what I'm telling you, man. Though, like these brothers, that's why I say, man, that's why I say communication is key. Because if you can convert these brothers, you don't understand what type of brother you gonna have on your team when you convert that brother and tell him to channel that energy in the right direction and focus on the real enemy. Man, listen, he gonna be down the ride when things start getting real. You want one of those, you want a lot of those brothers on your team. But we got those brothers on the wrong team out here. We got to get them to see who the true enemy is. And trust me, it's a lot of brothers that are willing to listen to what we have to say. Man, I have talked to a lot of these brothers. I have talked to brothers that fresh out of prison, that listening to what I'm saying, be like, man, it resonates with me. Man, I want to learn more, things of that nature. So I know this to be a fact, but we can't give up. We can't give up. We can't. Yeah, Denise, for sure. They getting we know who's supplying them with the guns, man. They coming out here with AKs, machine guns. I'm talking about army guns. We know where that's coming from. We know where it's coming from. Oh, Justin, yeah. When you actually care about the people, you gotta go. When you actually care about the people, it's time for you to go. They don't like you actually caring about the people. They don't like you caring about the people. That's a politician. When you trying to care about black people as a politician, you got to go, man. We're going to assassinate you or you better resign. Something along those lines. But you can't be caring about people. Yeah, Nick, for sure, man. Like, we need them, man. They serve a purpose. They serve a purpose in this war, in this battle, in this fight that we got going on. And I'm not talking about the illusion in regards to us being our biggest enemy. I'm talking about when it's time to actually fight the real enemy. Mr. Dan, you already know, man, about four hours and some change away from Chicago. We going through the same old vibes, man. Same old vibes. And then there's always the same old song and dance when you start analyzing these young brothers. No father figure. They father figures come from the streets. Like they father figures, they getting raised by the streets. So it always be the same thing. That's why we always try to tell people, man, like, listen, shout out to my single mother, shout out to my women, man. But again, when it comes to raising a young boy, man, it's inevitable, man. Like, you need a positive male role model in his life, or else he may gravitate towards the streets. He may gravitate towards something that's destructive. Like, just point blank, period. That young boy is going to find, like, he's going to seek out a male to look up to. positive or negative. He's going to seek out a male to look up to, and whatever male shows him the most love, he gonna gravitate towards that individual as his father figure. Point blank, period. No matter what that man is involved in. If that man is showing them love, and a lot of these people in the streets, they know that. That's how they get the young bulls to do a lot of the nonsense and the wickedness. They show him love. They preying on the vulnerability of that young brother that don't have a father figure in his life. And that's just an actual fact, man. A lot of times, man, these dudes gonna be fatherless. Or they may have, like, fatherless in the sense of they father just not around, or they father could be locked up, they father could be dead, whatever the case may be. But the father, the male, is not around consistently. And anytime you have a young boy growing up and the male is not around consistently, you have the potential to have problems. You have the potential to have big problems. So we gotta just do, like, we gotta do better jobs, man, of staying around consistently, man, and just and this is on both ends, be it the man and be it the woman. We gotta, like, listen, if you are a sister and you done had a child with a man and y'all not on the best of terms, like, you gotta put that stuff to the side. If you see him out here talking to other women because, like, he's trying to move on, like, you can't hold grudges, man. You can't be trying to prevent him from seeing his kids, especially if you want to see them. Don't be like that. Don't do that, man. You got to do what's best for that child. That young man going to need his actual father in his life. Don't be petty, man, because you see him moving on, it didn't work out with y'all, and now you trying to prevent him from seeing his child. Don't do that, because that's going to affect that young man the most. That's going to affect the young son the most. So don't be that way. And then when you are a brother and things ain't work out, man, do what you need to do to be in the life of your young son. So it goes both ways, man. We both need to do what we need to do to make sure that make sure it's a positive male role model in the life of that young son, that young man. He got to have that positive male role model, man. And we got to make sure we are the positive male role models. You know what I'm saying? We can't be out here leading them in the wrong direction. Yeah, they don't feel valuable at all, man. And we got to change that narrative. Yeah, Sack, and that's why I'm not so quick to write them off, because it's just misguided. It's misguided energy. It's misguided anger, frustration. It's all of that. It's all just misguided. So we just got to get them, the right people have got to connect with them and get them to guide that energy in the proper direction. Like, that's literally it. Yeah, Josh, when they doing a great job of having us go against one another. Yeah, Tamika, and that's what I'm saying. Like, at that point, when you bring a child into existence, it's no longer about you at that point. You got to do what's best for the child. So if you had a child with a man and he's a good dude, and he would be a great father, and y'all didn't just work out, then don't make the child suffer. Don't take away that potential good father from the child because y'all didn't work out. Like, that's sick. That's sick. Greg, peace, what's happening? Like, that's sick, man. Like, that's sick. Don't do that. It just didn't work out between y'all. That don't mean the child has to suffer, man. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot, man. Your child is not a weapon. Like, your child is not a weapon that you use for revenge. And that's what a lot of people do. Like, oh, okay, you trying to move on. I'm going to use this child as a tool, as a weapon. Like, you using your children as weapons? Like, that's sick. And it's going to be a lot of bad energy that comes back your way because of that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be mindful of that, man. You got to stop using your child as a weapon. That's unnecessary, and that's causing a lot of problems. So then when he turns to the streets, guess what? That's your so-called karma. That's your energy coming back. When you didn't took that father out of his life, and then he turned to the streets, and now you can't tame him, and now he going crazy, and he committing all type of crimes and doing all type of nonsense, that's that energy coming back on you. You shouldn't have been being petty. Jeff, for sure, man. It definitely starts with us, for sure. Oh, Lindell, we already know, man. They don't want anything They don't want anything that deals with solutions. They don't want black people to be out here acknowledging the things that's going on in our own communities in regards to, and then providing solutions as well. They don't want it. They don't want that. They like, nah, they just want us to ignore what's going on. They don't want us to start trying to think about solutions so that we can fix our community and fix our neighborhoods and fix our blocks and things of that nature. They don't want that. Sharif, man, peace. Jeff, for sure, 100% of the time, man, we gotta want it, man. We gotta, what they say, be the change that we want to see in our neighborhoods. So we gotta be that change first. And like I said, you would be surprised at who's watching you. You'll be surprised at the type of eyes that's on you. So always be mindful that the babies are watching, and you will be surprised. You'll be surprised at how many young folks looking up to you right now that you might not even know that they watching you. You will be surprised. You'll be very surprised. Kansu, for sure, man. Like we are needed. Like we are needed. Like men, we are needed. Point blank, period. We needed in the lives of the sons and these daughters. Like we are needed. Period, man. Period. So again, we gotta stop wiping one another out. We gotta stop falling victim to the agenda of the beast. Like we gotta stop doing that, man, because we are needed. We are needed. Most of these brothers, when there's some shooting and killing going on, most of these brothers are fathers. Most of these brothers are fathers for sure. So we are needed, man. But we getting locked up again, and we understand that this is part of the agenda. So again, we got to do better at reaching the youth. Again, we didn't make the changes. We living in a certain type of way, man, because we said, all right, I don't want this for myself. Now I'm going to change. So now part of our duty is to get some of these younger brothers to realize what's all possible. That's part of our duty. Like I said, whether we want to admit it or not, whether we like it or not, that's part of our duty. When you reach a certain age, like you automatically become the OG, and a lot of these young boys are looking up to you. So whether you want to acknowledge it, admit it or not, that's part of your duty, man. You are inspiring the youth. You are inspiring the younger generation. They looking up to you. But if you shun them, if you write them off, then they going to go back to the streets. They want to know how you move and how you move. They want to know how you earning your living if you're doing it righteously, man. And if you show them how to do it, like a lot of them will be willing to listen. But if you just turn your nose up at them and be like, man, I made it this far, you learn how to do it on your own. Because that's how I had to do it. I can't stand an individual like that. Can't stand it. I can't stand it. I did it on my own. I didn't know you did. Nobody did anything on their own. If you read a book, somebody wrote that book. If you had to experience things through life, you had to experience like life. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't do that on your own, man. So nobody changed. Nobody transitioned on their own. So why are we expecting these young 15 and 16 and 17 and 18-year-olds to transition on their own? We all were influenced to change. We all had help. We all had assistance on this journey. We all did. Nobody just transitioned and changed fully on their own. We all had help, man. We all had help. Point blank, period. Whether your help was an actual person or some books, or just life in and of itself. Life helps you. So we all had assistance. We all had assistance. Man, Sack, for the life of me, I can't understand how you can create something as valuable as a child and abandon the child. For the life of me, don't understand that. And then try to justify why you did what you did. Like I would never, for the life of me, understand that. Never something that looks like you, that you created, you abandon it, and you feel comfortable doing it. I will never understand that. Never for the life of me. I'm talking about your seed. This came from you. It looks like you. You know what I'm saying? It is you, and you feel comfortable abandoning it. Like, nah, I can't trust a person like that. I can't trust a person like that. Oh, Denise, for sure, 100%. Got to be that change. Sneaky Peace, what's happening? Mr. Dan, 100%. man, and then I'm gonna even do you one better. And this is another reason why our brothers ain't really changing. Because not only are we so divided on that level, but then even when you find brothers with some sense or semi-sense, we divided on that level. We out here debating about which religion is the best and which religion is accurate. Like, we debating about all that. We can't even agree on that level. So when they see the dysfunction on that level, they like, man, they can't even, these brothers talking all this knowledge talk, and they acting just like we acting. So why would I join that community? Why would I become a part of the conscious community when they out here conning they people, scamming they people, and then they just debating and about to come to blows? They disrespecting, like, they doing all the type of stuff that they doing on that level. So it's like, man, we always going against each other. Always. Even when you make it past the street life, we out here debating about things that don't even matter. We out here debating about things. I don't even want to say don't even matter, because some of this stuff is a way of life to people, but we got to learn how to put some of that stuff, like, again, the back pocket, the back burner, and we got to start dealing with the bigger issues at hand. But we debate about any and everything under the sun against, like, with our own people. Like, come on, man. I'm kind of past arguing about which religion is this, that, and the third. Like, kind of past that. The only argument you gonna get from me is with these whitewash religions. Like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get my people to stop following them joints, but once you come over to a black culture, then I don't care about it no more. I ain't arguing with you. As long as you drop the white man's religion and things of that nature, we good. Now, if you about to come with the white man's religion, then we got to have a discussion. Like, nah, man, you shouldn't be subscribing to anything like that. Because, again, that's the enemy that I'm focused on. Once you come over to the black side, man, and you with a black organization, black movement, hey, long as you ain't physically harming me, then we cool. I ain't debating you about that. Better Future for sure. We gonna continue to speak out on this, man. Now, all the people that need to connect, we gonna connect. All right, for sure. Man, hey, my G, yeah, man, I might have to make a trip over that way, to be honest. Cause like I said, when it happened right around the corner, like this happened some years ago, right after like Mike Brown and whatnot, in my little community, man, I was out there, man. We was, you know what I'm saying, protesting, marching because of a little 5-year-old. I think she was 5, 6, same situation. And I was like, man, this can't be happening no more, man. Can't be happening. Cannot be happening. Yeah, Tamika, it ain't nothing. Listen, for the most, like, the conscious community, the people that claim to be a part of it, and when you look at the word conscious, like, they not a reflection of that. They not a reflect. The matter of fact, that's like the unconscious community for real. Because, like I said, most of the time, and this the reason, and I'm gonna give y'all a jewel. It's money in talk. Like, if you a black man, there is a lot of money in talking bad about black women. There's a lot of money in it, to be honest with you. On these platforms, like YouTube probably gonna pay you handsomely if you get on here and you talk bad about black women, and vice versa. So, you know what I'm saying? If you a black woman and you talk bad about black men, there's money in that. It's money. That's why people doing it. It's like, it's a trend. It's a trend. So if I get on this joint, here y'all go. Y'all see the joint. Get the malfunctioning a little bit. Got the feds outside. Every time I see the cops outside, it's crazy. But nah, we back though. But like I said, man, it's money in it. It's money in it. It's money in tearing down one another. It's money in that. Literally. It is literally money in tearing down black men, black women. It's money in it. So that's why you see it a lot. That's why you see, like, let's be honest. See, back in the day, it's marketing scheme. These dudes are opportunists. Back in the day when all this stuff was popping off of like Mike Brown, stuff like that, the trend was to be on the black consciousness wave, like to talk the black power talk, because that was the energy at that time. When the cops were out here killing us, which they still are, but when the Mike Brown stuff happened, and the Trayvon Martin, like when all of that stuff popped off, like it was popular to talk about the black power stuff and things of that nature because everybody was on that. That was the energy, that was the wave. So a lot of people preyed on that. They was like, all right, man, the energy of today's time, of today's climate is to talk about this black power talk. So that's what we gonna do. So we gonna get the people riled up. We gonna ride that momentum and we gonna get them on our side and we gonna scam them. Now the wave is to talk bad about each other. So a lot of these same, like these conscious dudes that built their platforms up around that time. Now you have seen a lot of them transition into talking about black women, talking about relationships, things like that. They going with the flow, they going with the wave because they wasn't genuine back then when they was doing it. They was only talking about that black power, that black information, all of that, just so they could manipulate the people because it was trending. Because it was trending. So that's it. That's an actual fact. That's an actual fact. So now the trend now is, and y'all see it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see who started trending and things like that, and what trends. Y'all seen, bring up names here like Kevin Samuels and stuff like that. Like that's why the dudes will start talking about that because they seen, oh, this dude trended because he's talking, and look what he's talking about. So now we finna take that route. So you start seeing a lot of dudes switch up their message when they saw him trend. Then you will see Kwame Brown, he get the trending, and you start seeing like the energy behind him and why he started trending, and then everybody started taking those type of routes. So whatever is trending for black people at that time, like that's the wave we gonna follow. So right now the wave is for everybody to talk about relationships. That's the wave. I swear to you, that's the wave. You look up, I think everybody is talking about some form of relationships. I feel like, it's black dudes. I'm talking about, I seen black dudes in battle rap out here acting like they experts in relationships. I'm like, man, why is everybody talking about relationships, man? That's the new trend. I'm telling y'all, that's the new trend. That's the trend for black men to sit up here and talk about all the problems with black women and for black women to do the same thing. That's a trend. That's a trend. That is the trend. C Square, appreciate that donation. Oh, that I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all, if we can get these brothers to see that these beasts are truly the enemy, man, I'm telling y'all, man, game changer. Game changer, man. If we could get these Crips and Bloods and all of that, man, if we could get all of them to unite and say, man, hold on, we ain't really the enemy. These wicked folks are the enemy, and man, the whole game will change. Whole game will change. That's why they don't like organizations and things like that that focus on the troubled youth. Because then when we start reaching the troubled youth and we start converting some of these brothers, they don't like that because they need them out here killing one another. Man, I'm telling y'all, man, listen. Everybody is an expert on Man, it didn't even been people, man, reaching out to me, wanting me to talk about certain things in the man, even my wife, man, I be like, yo, I ain't really trying to go on your platform and talk about relationships. I said, man, I'm not the one. Like I done told her several times, I ain't the one to look up to when it comes to relationships, man. I ain't the like, man, I'm like, nah, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert. Like, I'm like, man, I don't feel comfortable always talking about relationships. I'm like, man, that's one of the reasons why you wouldn't see me on my wife's platform that often, because she done tried to get me on there to do things. I'm like, man, relationships ain't my thing. Like, I'm solo dolo, man. I'm a introvert. Like, man, I'm not, like when you need to learn something about relationships, I'm not the one actually. Like, it's better that she talk about it than not me, man, because listen, I'm not the one. I'm literally not the one. You do not want to hear what I got to say in regards to relationships. I'm telling you, I'm not the one. So sometimes when people be asking me questions, I'm like, man, listen, that's not what I do. If anything, man, I might give you some life jewels, man, just how to become a better person. But I ain't finna act like I'm an expert. I'm not about to sit here and just talk greasy about women and things like that. Like, I ain't played a role when it comes to bad relationships. Like, man, I did plenty of dirt. I done been plenty of trash when it came to my relationships with women. Man, I done been plenty of trash. So I'm the wrong one. I'm not about to sit here and act like women gross, this, that, and the third. I have been gross. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not even finna do that at all. God is peace. What's happening? What's happening? And legends never die. Hey, man, listen, the cops have been circling this block. Like the cops in this park, there's 2 cop cars in this parking lot, man. They've been circling this joint about 3 times, and now they just posted. I wonder what's going on out here, man. I wonder what's going on out here, man. My eyes on these guys, like they literally just parked right here. So I wonder what they on. That's crazy. But man, I ain't got time for it, man. Don't ask me nothing about relationships. I don't got the best answer for you. Ask me stuff about yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's when I become an expert, man. I deal with knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? That's what I deal with. And that's what when I'm talking to the brothers, that's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of, man. How do you view yourself? You know what I'm saying? How much do you know about yourself? You know what I'm saying? And all of this stuff stems from a lack of knowledge of self and it's self-hatred. So when you hate yourself, you're going to hate anybody that looks like you. And that's why we have a lot of this going on, man, because it's self-hatred. And that self-hatred comes from that lack of knowledge of self. So when you know yourself, man, when you know yourself, you're going to begin to love yourself. And when you love yourself, man, you're going to respect and you're going to fool with the people that look just like you. So that's going to eliminate a lot when these brothers get in tune with themselves and they start to know who they are. When you know who you are, you're not about to destroy self. And you're not about to destroy people that look like you. You're going to be striving to build those people up because you know you need them. Nah, just it don't be much popping off over here, man. I'm actually on a fairly decent side of town here. So it ain't really nothing popping off. But it's all about that knowledge of self, man. I know it's always the cliche response that I typically give, but it is what it is, man. It's all about the knowledge of self, man. These young brothers do not know themselves, man. They don't know. They don't know who they are. They don't know why they doing what they doing, man. They just don't know. So it's up to us to educate us, man. That's why I feel like it's important. Instead of me focusing on arguing about, you know what I'm saying, which religion is right and exact, man, we got to teach these young brothers where they come from. We got to teach these, and that's why I try to do that. We got to teach these young brothers where they come from. Teach them about their glorious past. Be like, hey, man, like you come from this. You capable of this. Why are you acting like this? We got to teach them that, man. They got to see these images. They got to see brothers talking like that. They got to see brothers living out their reality. Oh, Greg, for sure. For sure, man. Like I'm telling y'all, man, I tell people I'm the last one because I'm like, I don't like giving off facades and all of that. I don't like for people to look at me like, especially when it comes to relationships, and people be like, oh, power couple, this and that. I say, man, listen, y'all don't know the half, man. I don't aspire to be like me in relationships, man. I'm not, when it comes to communication, bro, I don't like, listen, I'm telling y'all, when I say I'm an introvert, every personality test I've done, I have been an introvert by 95, 96%. I'm not big on talking like that, man. Just outside of this, like this, the most you're gonna get out of me. And by the time I do this, man, the social battery is now depleted. So it's like, man, I got a lot of first one to admit that type of stuff, man. I'm the first one to admit that type of stuff, man. So when it comes to that, I'm always striving to do internal work. And that's why I feel like I'm good for talking to brothers when it comes to getting in tune with themselves, because I'm always doing that, because I feel like that's the answer to pretty much everything. Getting in tune with oneself. Man, Sharif, I'm telling you, man, like I said, when I came out and I started studying Malcolm X, and I, came across the Nation of Gods and Earths and things like that, and they was telling me we gods and things like that, I've never heard that before. I'm like, yo, I needed this, man. I needed that. Like, I needed that. When I read Message to the Black Man by Elijah Muhammad, I was like, dog, I need this. Like, I need this in my life right now, man. This is some of the best. Like, this is what I needed, man. Like, I needed that. Like, I needed that information, man. When I was reading all those books by black authors, like black men and women writing these books, letting me know these powerful things, man, I didn't know that world was out here, man. Like, honestly, I didn't know that world was out here, and I needed that. Like, that literally changed my life. So I know it can change somebody else's life. Because that literally changed my life when I seen it. I'm like, man, it's a lot. I'm like, man, we wrote all these books. Like, man, why ain't nobody been giving me these books? Like, I didn't know we wrote all these books. I didn't know we had all these scholars out here, math, science. Like, I didn't know we was out here doing all that, man. I didn't know it. So when I got the knowledge that we was out here doing it, man, game changer, man. I knew what we was capable of. I knew what I was capable of. So that changed the game for me, man. Changed the game for me. Oh, just for sure, man. I done fumbled. I done fumbled drastically. I done fumbled the rock drastically in life a lot of times. And I'm going to let you know those fumbles. I'm going to let you know. And I'm going to continue to fumble. It is what it is. I'm going to continue to sometimes. And guess what? Sometimes I'm going to recover my own fumble. And sometimes somebody else going to recover that joint. And they going to take it to the crib. You know what I'm saying? That's life. That's life. But don't get it twisted. Like, I got a long way to go. I got a long way to go, but I feel like I done went through enough to where I'm able to help a brother that's younger than me avoid some of the same mistakes that I've made. So I feel like I have reached that point to where it's like, man, I done did some living and learning, and I feel like I can help a young brother. I can guide him in the right direction because I done made so many mistakes, committed so many errors. I can kind of coach them on what not to do for sure. Like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Instead, do this. But sometimes even telling them what to do ain't even the point. It's just like telling them what not to do, what to avoid can save them. Like, man, hey, just don't act like this. Just don't do that. Avoid this route. Avoid this route. Then from there, they're going to figure out what to do on their own. They going to figure out what to do on their own, man, because they pretty much already got a good idea. Like, but when we let them know, like, hey, avoid that. If you take this route, this what's possibly going to happen to you. They're going to be like, all right, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. I didn't did that for plenty of brothers, man. I didn't guided plenty of brothers in the right direction when it comes to certain avenues, man. When it comes to certain avenues, man, things that I took an L on. Things that I took an L on. I talked to young brothers and say, hey, man, when I was your age, I didn't do this. I suggest you do it. And some brothers did it, man. Like I didn't when I was in banking, man, I was like, yep. I had brothers start saving money like when they got their first little job. Stuff that I wish I did, like, man, put this money up, don't touch it. And they doing it. You know what I'm saying? So they going to end up good. They're going to end up good if they continue on with the discipline. So it's little things, but I wish I would have known, man. I wish I would have did and practiced at that age, man. So it's like I try to give them that game. And that's all some of these young brothers need, that game, man, that righteous game that they lacking, that they missing, that's absent from their lives right now, man. They need that game. They need that righteous game. They need those righteous instructions. And they need it more than once. You know what I'm saying? When you was a young bull, you ain't listen the first time somebody talked to you. A lot of us were rebellious, man. We didn't like when older folks tried to tell us what to do sometimes. Some of us listened right away, but a lot of us was hard-headed. Hence, they came up with that term. So a lot of times, man, we got to understand that, man. When you dealing with the youth, they're not going to listen right away. But that's for the young person, man. We just not going to listen right away. Stay on them, though. Stay on them. Oh yeah, Mr. Damn, we definitely at war. We definitely at war. It's a war going on outside. It's a war going on inside. So we always at war. We always at war. Whether we talking about internally, whether we talking about externally, it's always a war going on. And the whole objective of war is to come out victorious. So like that internal war, we got to come out on top. But it's a lot of people that are losing that battle. Then the external war, like when we master the internal, when we master self, then we're going to be able to master what's outside of self. We're going to be able to master the external portion of this war. And that's why they got one up on us when it comes to the war that's going on outside, because we haven't mastered self. We got to master self, man. When we master self, then we're going to master everything that's outside of self. Better Future, appreciate that donation. You say we've been playing the wrong game in life for so long. That's why we keep falling behind. Exactly, 100% of the time. And I told people that, I tell people that all the time, man, it's the wrong game. It's like when you playing a game, literally, when you playing a game and you don't like how this game, like, take the game out, put in another one. So we playing the wrong game and we getting upset, we getting frustrated with the game instead of changing the game. Heck, man, we might have to change the console. We just don't like the console, man. We playing the same game, like that game that got us frustrated. Like this game got us frustrated. We continue to play this game. Whole while the game was rigged for us to lose. So you playing a game that never was intended for you to win, and you getting frustrated because you can't beat it. You're not gonna ever beat it because it wasn't designed for you to beat it. So we got to create a whole new console so we can create the game that we put into the console. But we stuck on a game given to us, or we stuck on a console and the games given to us by the enemy that was never designed for us to win, and we mad that we can't win, and we still playing this game getting frustrated, breaking controllers and all that. The breaking controllers is equivalent to us killing one another. Like, we frustrated at this game that wasn't designed for us to win, so now we finna go out here, shoot and kill, and be destructive. We gotta change the console, man. We gotta change the game. Something has to change. Press the eject button, get rid of that game. If you put in another game, you got the same result. Then that console in and of itself is the problem, and we need to create a whole new console. Oh, Zeke for sure. No man is safe from either one of those wars, man. But we gotta conquer the internal first. When you conquer that, the external is not a problem. It's not a problem. It's no longer a threat, no longer a problem. Yeah, C square for sure. Yeah, the village is done. The village is done. Yeah, just that's what I'm saying. Eat, like putting alcohol on the disc. Man, it's too scratched up. You keep putting it in there, it's broken. You know what I'm saying? You putting alcohol on it, all of that type of stuff. You blowing it, trying to wipe it out like it's broken. The disc is too scratched up, and we still trying to force it to work. We trying to force it to play instead of getting a new game. Like, come on, man. Oh yeah, Greg, for sure. Yeah, they definitely dumbed us down, and they knew what they was doing. That's hence why they burned a lot of our libraries back in the day. But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I'm running short on time, man. I done got some things off my chest. Feel like my phone may be possibly about to die, but I got a client that's about to come in here, man. So I may tap back in with y'all later on today. Y'all know how I get down because that's just how I roll. So I appreciate the donations, appreciate all the comments, all the good stuff, man. But I'm going to tap out with y'all for a brief minute. I may come back because I may have a little bit of time after this session. Who knows, depending on how we feeling. But y'all enjoy the rest of this little afternoon and whatnot. If y'all see me, it'll probably be about 2 hours from now. So y'all stay tuned. If not, y'all definitely gonna hear from me tomorrow. Y'all be easy.